Yes, 5G will connect the Internet of everything. If something can be connected, it will be connected in a 5G world. Hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers, requiring massive deployment of small cells. We won't wait for the standards. Now, to make this work, the 5G build-out is going to be very infrastructure intensive. We must reject the notion that the 5G future will be the sole provenance of urban areas. The 5G revolution will touch all corners, and that's damn important. The interconnected world of the future will be the result of decisions we must make today.
The main issue before us today is Senate Bill 637 and Senate Bill 894, the former by Senator Hugh and the latter by Senator Knopf. We're going to invite the first four witnesses in support of the legislation, and that would be John Jones with Sprint, David Lewis and Andy Emerson with AT&T, Neil Krevda with Verizon, and Frank Alcavetti Jr. with T-Mobile.
So be straight with me. Is it true?
It could be.
No, well, very few cases. There was an unfortunate incident out in Iowa. Look, gentlemen, practice these words in front of the mirror. Although we are constantly exploring the subject, currently, there is no direct evidence that links cell phone usage to brain cancer.
I'm Sharon Goldberg. I'm an internal medicine physician. I've practiced medicine for 21 years, and my background is mostly academic, internal medicine, hospital-based, clinical research, and medical education.
I'm a certified Microsoft small business specialist. I worked on space station designing the cabling system for the airlock module, where I was responsible for EMI, EMC analysis, which is electromagnetic interference, electromagnetic compatibility.
I am a professor in the Department of Epidemiology, Biostatistics, and Occupational Health, and I teach there both toxicology and health effects of electromagnetic radiation.
My name is Daphne Tachover, and I'm the founder of an organization called We Are the Evidence. We are an organization that represents the many adults and unfortunately many children who have become very sick from wireless technology radiation.
There seems to be a couple false Easter eggs being put out there right now. I want to make sure we dispel that right off the gate.
The effects of wireless on health scientifically are very, very clear.
So it's always pushed back to the definition of an acceptable level of radiation. And that's what this is, by the way. This is about radiation.
Wireless radiation has biological effects, period.
My name is Dr. Angie Kolbeck. I've been reviewing the studies showing the impacts of wireless radiation on our health, and there are now thousands of studies showing the following adverse health impacts to wireless radiation: cancer, oxidative damage, DNA damage, DNA failure.
Things like memory, dizziness, anxiety, brain fog.
Headaches, nosebleeds, cognitive problem, exhaustion.
We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure.
Short and long-term memory loss, decreased attention spans, lower reaction times, even involuntary contractions of muscles causing misalignments of spines and jaws.
Breast cancer. We suddenly have breast cancer in women who have no DNA predisposition.
Disrupted immune function and change in stress proteins, reproductive and fertility effects.
There are dozens and dozens of studies that show beyond any doubt what this radiation is doing to our sperm. Now, if you take the cell phone out of your pocket, the sperm will recuperate within 3 to 4 months. What would not recuperate would be the damage to the DNA of the sperm. That is irreparable. The wife of the ex-governor of Indiana was diagnosed with glioblastoma. Same brain tumor Ted Kennedy had and John McCain had. Did you look at John McCain's car? This is a cell phone brain tumor. LeBron James, one of our sports people, had a salivary gland tumor. That is another cell phone tumor. You didn't hear about it because immediately after that was discovered, he was paid by Samsung to become their spokesperson.
We are seeing increases in brain tumors. We're seeing increases in Alzheimer's. We're seeing increases in all of the neurotransmitter diseases, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's. These are all disease systems that are known to be associated with low-level energy exposures.
We talk about 24/7, around-the-clock exposure, wherever you are and your whole body. You never get away from it. And it seems from our studies that maybe your immune system can cope with for a time, but it will deteriorate. Then the irradiation will definitely damage cells at a deeper level, and the question is what will then happen?
These are out of peer-reviewed papers, so these are not just hypochondriacs thinking that they're doing it. We're having real problems with this.
This is no longer a subject for debate when you look at PubMed and the peer-reviewed literature. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do.
There is scientifically evidence that is so strong that you can be certain that the standards used by the FCC to manage health effects are wrong.
It hurts like how.
Benjamin Rivas has worked on cell phone towers for 14 years.
I was dealing with them day in and day out.
He quit after an antenna that should have been powered down was still live.
Physically burned my hand.
The burn is a work injury you can see.
You get burned on the outside, but internally it blisters.
Other problems he said caused by the towers aren't as easy to spot.
Depression, and I get headaches from time to time, and mood swings and stuff.
Rivas is one of 250,000 workers a year. An insurance rating agency said gets too close to these antennas. They act as an open microwave and can cause eye damage, sterility, and cognitive damages.
250,000 workers every year cooked by an open microwave, according to the insurance companies, according to the mainstream news. If this is not the most bombshell news report you've heard all year, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. This is the evidence. 250,000 people every year are being nuked by these death towers, according to insurance companies. What else needs to be said? There are countless cancer clusters being reported across the nation, and they're putting up more death towers every day. Death towers near schools, death towers near the grocery store, death towers on your way to work, death towers everywhere. There's no escaping the eugenics program out there, and that's the point. It's like the chemtrails, it's like the fluoride, it's like the vaccines, it's like everything else. It's study after study. There are over 1,000 studies right now confirming that cell towers and cell phones cause cancer. There are as many studies implicating the fluoride, the GMOs, the vaccines to some sort of disease. And yet the mainstream media, for the most part, pretends like you're not the target, like nothing is going on. Look at these death towers. It's like Dr. Evil's Christmas tree. They're pretty much right there at eye level, nuking you right there on your way to the store. Everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. What's it going to take for people to fight back against this obvious attempt to mass murder humanity day after day? And look at these sheeple celebrating. You've got a university here, Verizon Wireless, on campus this week, putting up a new death tower. Should improve our service for our students and our community. There's nothing worse that can happen to a school or to a community than a death tower going up right on fucking campus. Pardon the language. But you don't see this in other countries. They have to keep them at least like 100, 200 feet away from schools, but here they're just putting them right on the roof. And this is just the beginning of the nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. There's just so much more to say about this bombshell breaking news story. If we can come back to it, 250,000 people every year are confirmed nuked by these death towers, according to insurance companies and the mainstream news. But they're like, it's okay for this to go up in your neighborhood. It's okay for this to be just a few feet away from your house. When the workers are, displaying signs of radiation sickness. They've got the burns, they've got the blisters, and the like. These things truly are radioactive, and they're dangerous. Countries right now are banning the deployment of 5G, but we, ladies and gentlemen, are putting them up like they're Christmas trees.
These 30-foot tall poles are popping up in communities all around Denver, and when all is said and done, there could be 500 of them spread throughout the city. Well, our Gary Brode found one in the Highlands neighborhood. And Gary, how are neighbors liking the new addition?
Some not so much. This is one of about 12 just in this Highlands neighborhood. And right now you may be hearing the car engine running. Just to give you a little perspective here. So I'm going to turn this off real quick. You could still hear, though, that buzzing sound because it's coming from this transmitter right here. And one neighbor in this area says he hears it all night long. Across Denver and most of the country, these poles are leaving their mark. The more we use our phone,
they're going up everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, and they're painting them camouflage green in the urban jungle so that you won't see them. That's the new thing. It just kind of blends in. You don't know what it is. It's shapeless at a distance for the most part. It just looks like a pole. But these death poles, these death towers are going up everywhere. And it serves the sheeple right for being complacent, for not pushing back.
A new cell tower in Folsom could put a preschool out of business, with parents threatening to leave.
CBS 13 investigator Julie Watts reveals how what we don't know yet about these towers could cost small businesses and even homeowners.
Of course, they're putting them up by preschools, at your shopping centers, and they're strategically located to impact the most amount of people. And when you see these things, I mean, they look nefarious. That's why they have to camouflage them. You look at the studies, it's even worse. And so they have to, basically lie and say, well, for the time being, there's no known reason to be concerned. Because the studies are based on, their priorities and their funding. They're not funding studies that would say that these things are dangerous. Instead, they're paying off scientists to come on television to tell you that they're safe. But these things don't look safe. And we're getting reports of over 100,000, 200,000 cell phone workers being burned every year, nuked like a TV dinner, ladies and gentlemen. And showing signs of radiation sickness, burns, blisters, and the like. If there is ever a reason to be concerned, it certainly would be that, as well as the reports from elementary schools across the country where there are outbreaks of cancer. Cell phone providers are forced to take down their towers, but these stories are here one day, gone tomorrow, thanks to all of the deception on the mainstream news.
almost every study that has been done shows some evidence of danger. Now, the other side of the coin here is that there are no studies that have been done on people who use mobile phones that provide conclusive evidence of safety. So that on the human epidemiology side, you have studies that show problems or potential problems and studies that are inconclusive. Now, the industry spins the science and they put it out there for public consumption as though these studies are evidence of safety. It is scientific fraud.